underestimate the paydays that we're about to witness with these NFL quarterbacks coming up. Jalen Hurts is due for a payday. Lamar Jackson is due for a payday. Justin Herbert is due for a payday. Joe Burrow and Daniel Jones, which we'll get into a little later. That the back end of the show has the lighter news. But yes, Daniel Jones also is looking for a insane payday. So let's get right into it. At the top, the boy that I love so much, Jalen Hurts. I believe I said it in my video. There were talks about them paying Jalen 50. I didn't look and see if Jalen was actually asking for that 50. Some people are saying he might get 55, which I think would be crazy because the only two making that much right now are Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson. Russell at 49, Aaron Rodgers at just a little over 50. I personally believe that Jalen Hurts will take a hometown discount. Again, we've seen it with the leadership. We know the type of guy he is. He's very humble, and it's just kind of common sense. The eye test doesn't lie to you, right? You hear it when he's at the podium. You see the way he leads himself and he leads the team on the field. I personally believe, or excuse me, I think / I would pay Jalen Hurts $40 to $45 million. And I know y'all are going to think that's crazy, but I believe you could have a conversation with him to where he would take that money. But I realistically think what's going to happen is Jalen Hurts will get paid a $50 million contract. I believe that is kind of going to become the standard now for some of the guys that we're going to get into here. So personally, I could see it / I would pay Jalen Hurts 40 to 45 million because he for sure deserves it. But either the market's calling for 50, hell, and the way Philadelphia is, they love their athletes so much, they might pay him 52 annually a year, 53 and a half annually a year. We don't know. Next quarterback, Joe Burrow. I firmly believe, and myself, I would pay Joe Burrow $50 million a year, back-to-back AFC title games. Just the way he's played overall behind two bad offensive lines in a row, getting hurt his rookie year. Joe Burrow continues to impress me because I said, when he came out of the draft that I just thought he was that quarterback on that super loaded team in LSU to where nothing, was really going to stop him. Totally proved me wrong. He's doing big things in the NFL with the Cincinnati Bengals, so I couldn't be prouder of him. I believe that he's going to get paid $50 million as well. I would pay it to him. He's going to get it paid to him. I say Joe Burrow probably signs a $300 million contract. I'm sure he's going to be a Bengal for life, but I could see 6 years, $300 million. I'm not going to get too crazy into guaranteed money, but yes. Now, Lamar Jackson. I would pay Lamar Jackson $50 million a year. I would, because we see how Lamar Jackson has just affected things when he's on the field. I know y'all aren't going to agree with me because he hasn't finished the last 2 seasons, and maybe I should peel back on that 50 a year, but I would comfortably give him that money because I've seen what he is when he's healthy. He's won 74% of his games. We know that when he's on the field, he just completely turns a defensive scheme upside down and just doesn't make it easy for opposing teams. The way you can play so originally with Lamar Jackson is great. So I would pay him $50 a year because I've seen what he's able to do, and I believe he will get a $50 million a year contract as well. Again, I could see Lamar also getting, maybe if the Ravens and him are still having a discrepancy on guaranteed money, the contract becomes a little shorter to where it's, 4 years, $200 million. I could see a 6 to 7 year deal where he's getting paid about 50 annually. And then as far as Jalen Hurts, I could see Jalen Hurts also probably locking up a 6 to 7 year deal as well, getting $50 million a year. So a lot of $300 million contracts I feel like are coming forward in the NFL this year. Justin Herbert, I've seen what he's capable of. I would pay him $50 million a year as well. And I know y'all are probably like, man, you're just handing out 50 mil to everyone. But I know that's where the market's going. If Aaron Rodgers at his old age was getting it, all of these other quarterbacks, their agents have been talking. We know that this quarterback market is getting driven up. We've seen the guaranteed money. We've seen the short amounts of time with large sums of money. Aaron Rodgers, 4 years, $200 million. Like, it just keeps creeping up every year. And we've seen it year over year, decade over decade. Essentially, these quarterbacks continue to get paid more and more. Justin Herbert's shown he's got a great arm. He's accurate. He can read a defense well. I know he's not winning the amount of games that people want him to, but he's clearly a gamer. I'm not going to let, some of these antics that people like to throw out there fool me from the eye test. I see what Justin Herbert's able to do. He's dealt with a lot of injuries as well. He hasn't necessarily dealt with the best coaching positions as well. So that's why I have slack for Justin Fields needing more time, for Justin Herbert needing more time. Both of my guys, Justin, in here. I would pay Herbert $50 million a year. I believe he's going to get a $50 million a year contract as well. more than likely on about a 6 to a 7-year deal. Also, I could see a lot of these being the same, but I wanted to go ahead and bring this up, get into this conversation because I know it's going to unfold and it's really going to happen a lot faster than we believe. Wanted to check back in on the chat over here. You look great. Thank you. They talking about Henry to the Bills. AJ said he's going wherever Jalen goes. Absolutely. I don't blame him. Send me off wherever he goes. If they don't re-sign him, I ain't coming back. And Daniel Jones is absolutely a clown, wanting $45 million a year. I don't want to call him a clown. The clown emoji's so funny to me, though. Like genuinely, it just it cracks me up. The clown emoji. Like I don't know why. It's just like it's such a savage type thing. I feel like it's just like imagining. I don't know. It I don't know, man. I really don't know. The cloud emojis are crazy to me, though. And then we have Daniel Jones at the very end here talking about estimating the quarterback paydays that are coming up, what I think, or rather what I would do versus what I think is actually going to happen. The top side pay Daniel Jones is $30 million a year. If I'm being really honest, I probably wouldn't pay him above 25, but again, the market is driving up. He's in New York, big media town. Brian Daboll just won Coach of the Year. We saw what Brian Daboll brought out of Daniel Jones, which was very, very impressive, and that solely won him that Coach of the Year. Of course, they got a playoff win, made it to the playoffs and everything. But the top salary paid Daniel Jones is $30 million a year. I think they're going to tag Daniel Jones realistically, and I believe he's going to make around 32.4. It might be 34.2. And there's also the same expectation potentially as well with Geno Smith. So yes, the top salary paid Daniel Jones would be $30 million a year, but I think they're going to tag him for about $32 million a year or so. And if I had to rank these guys based off of paydays, or really not even based off of paydays, but just the guys that are due, of course, Burrow is 1, Hurts is 2, Herbert is 3, Lamar is 4, Daniel Jones is 5. And just for kind of a perspective, Mahomes got $450 million over 10 years. Absolutely crazy. Mahomes is one of one. Josh Allen got $258 over 6 years with $150 guaranteed. Stafford got 4 years, $160 million. Deshaun Watson got the $230 guaranteed over the 5 years. Kyler got $230 over 5 years as well, but with only $160 guaranteed. Russ got the $245 million over 5 years with the $165 guaranteed. That's the second biggest contract behind Aaron Rodgers. And then, of course, A-Rod at $150 million over 3 years, and all of it is guaranteed. So, just kind of a perspective for the contracts we're going to be looking at and how the quarterback market's going to get reset. I think it's crazy. We could really be looking at quarterbacks, I feel like, making, as nuts as it sounds, dude, like I feel like in 5 years we're going to be seeing $60 and $65 million a year for NFL quarterbacks, and it's just going to be crazy. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and get into that, but that's wild to me. Absolutely wild to me. So there's the paydays that I think we're going to see in this offseason, estimating them coming up.